And although the pandemic is obviously overwhelming everyone, when we had the conversation as to whether we would have a tree, I was insistent that we have a tree because I think, given what we've experienced in 2020, it's probably more important than ever that we have a Christmas holiday tree. And I didn't want to be the Grinch who stole Christmas and saying we're not going to do that this year. I think it's too important for our city. I'm very pleased that we don't have hundreds of people here because we take the health issues very, very seriously as a community, and we don't want people to get sick. We don't want people to get sick. And one of the things I read today, you're better off spending Thanksgiving alone than spending Christmas in the ICU unit. That may sound sort of cruel to say, but I think we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to minimize illnesses, to minimize hospitalizations, and to minimize deaths. But I am proud to kick off the holiday season with this annual tradition. And I want to thank our Commissioner of Public Works, Jeff Polensky, along with Director of Operations, Laura Daniels, the Forestry Services Manager, Randy Kraus, Urban Forestry Manager, Chris Kling, along with the tree donors, the Gill family, who are here today, and Kathy and my grandson Solomon, I think, who's going to be helping us. Solomon is a good helper, and he is going to be helping us here today. The holidays is truly about peace on earth. With all the challenges this year, now more than ever, we need to embrace this idea. The holidays are also about family and friends, our loved ones. While you may not be able to gather in person with loved ones this year, we're hoping you find creative ways to safely show your love and support to all those you hold dear. Which leads us to today. We really felt that it was important for us to snow-ically distance, and you'll have to fire the person who came up with that pun. But this can't be done without help of our community partners, and I want to thank Pick and Save and Metro Market, who employ 13,000 employees in Milwaukee, many of whom have been on the front lines through the pandemic, helping keep Wisconsin fed. So I think this is in recognition to our essential workers in grocery stores, in salons, our essential workers here for the city and the county, and that's something that we have to keep in mind. The tree is provided by the City of Milwaukee's Department of Public Works, whose Commissioner Jeff you'll hear from shortly. Our forestry team harvested this tree, installed it in its new home behind me, and decorated it with 3,500 lights and more than 200 ornaments. It's a 35-foot Colorado blue spruce graciously donated by the Gill family from their home on the far northwest side in the 9th Aldermanic District. There's a story behind this tree, and it's a sad story, but it's a story of love, it's a story of family, and it's now a story of community as well. The Gills planted the tree 22 years ago in loving memory of their oldest son, Eddie, and affectionately referred to it as Eddie's tree. City of Milwaukee Forestry Services harvested the tree November 9th, but not before boughs were extracted for an exciting partnership with Tim and Tony Eichinger of Black Husky Brewing. Black Husky Brewing harvested from this tree this year. Spruce harvested from the tree this year is an essential part of the brewing of Spruce, a double IPA being released by Black Husky's Taproom on Small Brewery Sunday, November 29th. So part of this tree is going to be going into the Milwaukee tradition of good tasting beer that's coming out this weekend. The tree lighting holds a special meeting to the Eichingers. Tony's sister, Miss Ferguson, was an MPS music teacher for 40 years, and her choir from the Lincoln Center for the Arts performed the annual tree lighting for a decade. This was Black Husky's inspiration in making a beer from the City of Milwaukee Christmas tree. Proceeds from the sale of the Spruce beer will go to support the City of Milwaukee Urban Forestry Fund. The fund supports tree planting projects across the city at schools, local parks, and green spaces, and in neighborhoods and commercial districts. As I said, this tree doesn't just appear. It takes hard work and planning from our Department of Public Works, an agency of essential workers, many of whom have worked non-stop during this pandemic to keep the city functioning. I'd like to turn it now over to Commissioner Jeff Polensky for a few words. Jeff?
thank you, Mayor, and thank you for keeping this great tradition alive. As we enter this holiday season, and with Thursday being Thanksgiving, I can't help but reflect on what I'm thankful for as the Commissioner of Public Works, especially here in 2020. While I fully recognize and thank all the wonderful essential workers in healthcare and public safety for their efforts in responding to the challenges of this pandemic, I want to take this time to extend my most heartfelt gratitude to the staff that make up the Department of Public Works. DPW staff has maintained some of the City of Milwaukee's most essential services, as the Mayor indicated, since the onset of this health emergency. Without these essential DPW workers, we wouldn't have clean water to drink. Our garbage would be overflowing, our streetlights and traffic control wouldn't be functioning, and no one would be available to respond to emergencies that result in flooding and damaged trees and snow and ice as winter comes on here. And we wouldn't have this beautifully decorated tree today. So thank you to our DPW staff. I also want to take this time to provide a special thanks to Laura Daniels, our operations division director, who will soon be retiring. This will be her last tree lighting as a city employee. So Laura's been one of our key leaders in maintaining some of our critical services, and someone who always amazes me with her dedication and endless hours spent planning for and working through some of our harshest winters. So thank you very much, Laura. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Tim Gill, Edward and Kathy's son in the Gill family.
Thank you, Commissioner. It's an honor to be here, and we're excited on behalf of my family to donate this tree. And as the Mayor mentioned, there's just a little story behind it. We planted this tree as one of two trees 22 years ago as a memorial and remembrance to my two older brothers who died earlier that year. And when we first planted this tree, it was just 5 feet high, and we put a couple strands of lights on it at Christmas. And every year it would just grow faster and bigger, and every year we'd have to add a strand or two more to it, and until eventually we couldn't actually light it up anymore because of the size of it. So we're excited tonight to see it lit up brighter than ever. And tonight we remember my brothers, Eddie and Andy, and together we can all remember those who are no longer with us during the holidays, and know that things are shining brighter and like this tree tonight, and we're excited to share this. So on behalf of our family, we're just pleased to be able to offer this as a gift to the people of Milwaukee. Thank you.
Well, thank you very, very much. We appreciate that. Now, Solomon, are you ready to help us? So what we'll do is we'll all count down from 10. When we get to 1, then you take this thing in very carefully so you don't pinch your fingers. You flip it to that side, and then we'll have a light, okay? All right, are you guys with us? Ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, ready? Nice and easy. Nice and easy. Don't pinch your fingers. Lights going on. Look at that! Great job. Thank you all very, very much for coming.